Good morning, mathematicians. Today we are going to be factoring trinomials. Trinomials look like this. They're an ax squared plus bx plus c format. So we are going to take it from this format and write it into our factor form. So one way that I do this is use my diamond problem strategy. So I'm going to teach you the diamond problem strategy today. Notice I have a flashcard. If you need to pause and put this on a note card yourself, or if you want to put it into your notes, you can do that. So the first thing I remember is that ax squared plus bx plus c is where I pull my problem, or my numbers for my diamond problem. The b is the sum, the c is the product. Now I literally make it look like a diamond. I put the c, which is the product, up at the top, and I put the b, which is the bottom. I remember that the b goes on the bottom because that's the sum. And I'm going to use this to find my factors. Now to go ahead and get started with this, let me show you. If I take a look, I've got ax squared plus 3x minus 18. So what I have here is a worksheet. Just to help us get started, notice that my c is at the top and my 3, which is my b, is at the bottom. So the first thing that I'm going to need to do is look for all the factors of c. In other words, what is everything that multiplies to become c? So over here, I can just put my 18. What are the numbers that go into 18? Well, I know that that's 1 times 18, but notice that this is negative. So I need to be aware that if my 18 is negative, then either the 18 or the 1 is negative. So we'll come back to that. Okay, does 2 go into 18? Yes, it does. 2 times 9. Does 3 go into 18? Yep, it's 3 times 6. Use your multiplication chart or use a calculator. Now I notice that 4 does not go in, 5 does not go in, and I'm already at 6, so now I'm done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the factors that when added equal b. Which of these numbers, these sets, when added become 3? Now remember, one of these is going to be negative. So let's go ahead and just put our negatives here. Right? Because negative 1 times 18 is negative 18. Negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. And negative 3 times 6 is negative 18. Now, which one of these, when I add my two terms together, become 3? Notice that it's this one. If I have a 6 and I have a negative 3, it becomes a 3. So my factors are negative 3 and 6. Now what do I do with them once I find them? Now I need to write the factors in this format. So let's practice that on the back of my paper. So notice that I'm going to have an x times something with an x. And my terms are negative 3, so I'm just going to write minus 3. And this one's a 6. And so now, and it's a positive 6. So now I have my terms. Now, just to show why this works, look what we can do. Remember, if we go backwards, it should still work. Let's go back to multiplying binomials. Notice I have an x and a negative 3, and I have an x and a 6. That ends up being x squared, negative 3x, 6x, and negative 18. When I pull these together, I get x squared plus 3x minus 18. Look at that. I'm back at my original. So I have just factored my trinomial into factor form. Now let's do a second one. If you get this, you're welcome to stop the video. If you want to keep going, I'll do a second one. Notice that I have my example number 2. I have an x squared plus 13x plus 42. So I have my 42 is my c. My 13 is my b. Remember, b on the bottom. Now I'm going to list all my factors for c. So 42. Now if you need to, write all your numbers over here on the side, and you can kind of just do a check with yourself. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm just going to stop there. Okay, so now I have 42. Now I can just actually kind of squeeze it up here. 42. What equals 42? Well, I do have 1 times 42. I have 2. Use your calculator if you need to. It's 2 times 21. Does 3 go in? 3 does go in. 3 goes in 14 times. If you need to, just do 42 divided by 3 and see what it equals. If it's not a whole number, it's not a factor. Okay, does 4 go in? No, 4 does not. Does 5 go in? Nope. Does 6? Yes, 6 does. 6 times 7. Oh, and look at that. Since I times it by 6 to get 7, then that means I'm done. All of these I've already taken into account. So which of these numbers now, we're on step 3, choose the factors that when added equal b. So which of these numbers when added will equal 13? Well, that equals 43, that equals 23, that equals 17. Look at that, that equals 13. So I have a 6 and I have a 7. Now we have to write it in our factored form. Remember, write the factors in factored form. So I know that my factored form is going to look like this. And I have a 6, and that's a positive 6. And I have a 7, so that's a positive 7. Okay, you are ready to factor trinomials. Let me know if you need help.